Hello students, welcome to Narayana IAS live session. Students, in today's live session, we are going to focus on a very important topic, and the name of the topic is urban unemployment. Now, why is this topic important? Students, unemployment has become a very major issue in our country, and that's the reason there's a high chance that UPSC might ask a question on unemployment. And given that few states have come up with their own initiative of introducing urban employment guarantee scheme, this topic becomes extremely important. So let us get started with the article. Now this is a topic that appeared in the Hindu paper, right? So let us try to understand various dimensions associated with this topic. We'll understand a few data, facts about the unemployment in our country. We'll understand the reasons behind unemployment, the schemes the government of India has introduced to address the urban unemployment issues, and what can we do in order to address the unemployment issue. So, as I told you, we need to understand, or we will be understanding urban unemployment issue in this article, and you can map this under GS paper 3. Now, a question on unemployment was asked in the year 2022. And what was the question? The question was, besides the welfare schemes, India needs deft management of inflation and unemployment to serve the poor and the underprivileged sections, which means UPSC can also ask a question on unemployment and other such issues. Let us start with the context. What is the context? The context is that the urban unemployment has become a major issue in our country. Why? Because if we consider the population of our country, or the young population of our country, which is only growing, this issue or this problem becomes extremely important. Now, the fact is that India's economy is growing. Despite the fact that India's economy is growing, the urban unemployment, this issue has persisted, and it is very important for the government of India to address this issue and find a sustainable job creation program which should be long term, which should move beyond the short term relief. Now let us try to understand the reasons behind the urban unemployment. The first is the employability issues. Now students, the skills possessed by the young population of our country do not match the requirement of the industries, which means there is a skills mismatch. The people, the young population, do not have the adequate skills and training necessary for them to find a meaningful employment in the industries. And this skills mismatch has become an important and significant barrier to employment. Now, according to a report of the National Sample Survey Office, only about 2.3% of India's workforce has undergone formal skill training. Only 2.3%. So students, this is how you support, or you basically supplement your point with a data. So this is the way of doing it. Now, the National Skill Development Corporation has identified that sectors like retail, healthcare and construction have substantial skill gaps. And here the government of India can actually fill in the skill gaps by ensuring that they instill training, they instill skills, so that people of our country can find meaningful employment. The World Economic Forum has highlighted that only 46% of India's youth are employable, and if you compare that with a developed country like Singapore, it is 85%. So this is the first reason behind urban unemployment. The second reason is the capital subsidies. Now the government has preferred to give subsidies to the capital intensive industries like the manufacturing and investment manufacturing, example being automation industries. Now there is no problem as such with respect to giving subsidies to the capital intensive industries, but the government also has to focus on giving subsidies to the labor intensive jobs. So, if we compare the capital intensive industries and the labor intensive industries, the labor intensive industries, they create more number of jobs. So, it is important for the government to support the labor intensive industries. The capital intensive industries, they do not create much number of jobs and they are replacing the human labor. Why? Because of money that the capital labor industries or the capital intensive industries get, they use it for technology. They invest in the technology and the technology is replacing human labor. And that's the reason it is important to invest in the labor intensive industries, right? For example, in the year 2018-19, the government provided capital subsidies amounting to 70,000 crore. The third reason is the deficient private sector demand. Now, in the mass consumer market like the labor industries or labor intensive jobs like the textiles, footwear or the small manufacturing industries, the demand has gone down. Why has the demand gone down? Because the purchasing power capacity has been declined. People do not have the money now. If people do not have the money to buy things, the demand would decrease. And if the demand is being decreasing, there will be job cuts. For example, according to RBI, private consumption expenditure grew by only 2.7%, which indicates weak consumer demand. Third reason. Fourth, wealth inequality. We discussed that India's economy is growing, but the wealth that India is creating is not being redistributed among all these sections of the society. This is the problem. For example, the Oxfam India report highlighted that the top 10% of India's population holds 77% of the national wealth. This is the stark inequality of our country. While the bottom 60% of the Indian population, they own just 4.8% national wealth. This is the stark inequality that we have to address. The World Bank reported that around 22% of India's urban population lives below the poverty line. The fifth, neglect of vocational education. Now, what is vocational education? Vocational education is the education wherein the skills are provided so as to meet the need of a specific job, right? Let's say, for example, to become a software engineer, these are the skills required. So, those required and specific skills are provided so that people find opportunities to gain employment. This is vocational education. Now, unfortunately, the Indian government is neglecting or ignoring vocational education. Since 1990s, vocational education has received less than 5% of the total education budget. The Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship reported in 19 that only 10 million people had benefited from vocational training programs. And if we compare that with a developed country like Germany, Germany invests heavily in the vocational education with over 50% of young people enrolled in vocational programs. This is the fifth reason. The sixth is the credential inflation. What is credential inflation? Which means more and more jobs require higher educational qualification than they actually need. For example, to be a software engineer, you need a BE degree in computer engineering. But now to be or to get a job of a software developer, you need a ME in computer engineering, which means your educational qualification should be higher. Now, you can also get the same job if you are a BE. This is what is credential inflation, which means you need higher educational qualification to get a job. This is another reason. So, these are some of the reasons behind urban unemployment. What is the solution? Solution is to address the challenges that we have just seen. For example, focus on the vocational education program. Make sure that you are investing sufficient or adequately in the vocational education program so that the young population of a country can learn new skills that are required to get them meaningful employment in the formal sector. That is very, very important, formal sector. And we can learn from successful countries like Germany and California. Then wage subsidies. As I told you, the government of India should also think on giving subsidies to labor intensive industries, as well as the government of India should provide technical skills to non-farm household enterprises. Third is the urban employment guarantee scheme. For the rural areas, we have Manarega, which provides guarantee 100 days of employment in a year. Similar such scheme, we should extend it to the urban areas as well. Now, for example, Kerala, states like Kerala, then Rajasthan, Himachal Pradesh, Jharkhand, they have launched state-specific urban guarantee development scheme. For example, Rajasthan provides 100 days of employment guarantee to the people who are living in the urban areas. Now, Rajasthan introduced in 2022, Himachal in the year 2020, Kerala in the year 2010, which means on a pan-India basis, the government of India should think of introducing a scheme which guarantees employment in the urban areas. Basic income supplement. Now, few authors, they support this argument that the government of India should provide basic income to the people who fall under the poverty line. Now, if you have money, you spend that money, and if you are spending money, which means you are boosting demand, and if you boost demand, there will be more jobs. So, this is how the economy of a country actually works. So, that's the reason few authors or experts point out that the government of India should think of implementing basic income scheme. The next solution is urban agriculture and green spaces. Now, here the author of the article is trying to suggest that the government should encourage urban farming and the government should develop green areas within cities, so that this leads or results in employment opportunities in farming, gardening and various eco-friendly activities. So, these are the solutions that we can think of and we can implement to address the urban unemployment issue. And these are some of the schemes the government of India has introduced to provide employment to the people who live in the urban areas. For example, Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana, National Urban Livelihood Mission. Manarega is for the rural areas. Similar such scheme we can think of implementing in the urban areas. So, by addressing or by implementing all the solutions that we have discussed, the government can effectively address the urban unemployment issue. I hope students have covered each and every dimension related to the urban unemployment issue. So, when you get a question, I am pretty sure you can address all these dimensions, and most importantly, please do not forget to mention data and facts to boost and amplify the quality of your answer. So, that's it students from today's live session. I hope I have covered each and every dimension, and I hope you are liking our live session which we take on a day-to-day basis. So, students, if you want us to continue with our live session, then please do like, share and support Narayana IAS. Thank you so much.